FMCG is a huge industry around the world. It is fast-paced, and in China it is even more so. Today we're going to learn about the trends in FMCG industry in China and how to market to your FMCG consumers. Hi guys, my name is Dudarenok and welcome to the next episode of Ashley's Digital China. Today we are covering FMCG. Let us start by defining what is FMCG, because sometimes it's referred to a few different categories. So in this video we're talking and defining FMCG in these 5 categories. First of all, it is of course the personal care products, home or household care products, food and beverages, alcohol and cigarettes, and OTC, over-the-counter medicines. It's very straightforward what those things are. Like personal care products, obviously the creams that you, for example, put on yourself, household care products, let's say cleaning supplies, food and beverages, everything we put inside ourselves apart from alcohol and cigarettes, which have their own little category within FMCG, and of course over-the-counter medicines, including, for example, cough syrup or something else that you can get from the pharmacy without having the doctor's note. Globally, food and beverage accounts for 19% of the sector, while healthcare is 31%, and the rest, the household and personal care, share the remaining 50%. Nestle, Procter & Gamble, and Coca-Cola are just a few examples of global FMCG giants that have thousands of brands and cover everything from vitamins to frozen foods. FMCG is a very fast-paced industry globally, but it is even more so in China, with huge domestic competition, consumer tastes changing fast, and new products being innovated. So COVID-19 has definitely impacted this market very quickly as well, both globally and domestically in China. Let's take a look at 4 big trends that are the base of this industry, but not forget about some unique things that happened specifically in the past 2 years. Firstly, the rising middle class. Let's take a look at some data. China's middle class growth is actually well documented, and its sheer scale makes businesses worldwide very excited about this opportunity. In the year 2000, think about that, China's middle class was just mere 3% of the population, but in the last decade, it now constitutes over 707 million people, with spending power of over $10,000 in 2019. By 2022, end of this year, it is expected that the middle class's consumer spending and services will be valued at $3.4 trillion, which is 24% of China's GDP. This class is more willing to spend money on quality products, of course, and premium brands, and they have a high level of trust and brand awareness as well. They can afford to spend more on these products, as opposite to the basic necessities. The Chinese middle class consumers are and can also punch way above their weight. So the first one is of course the rising middle class. What has changed post-pandemic? Nothing much. Middle class is still driving this FMCG premiumization. In fact, before pandemic began, for 5 years, the whole industry was enjoying premiumization trend where people wanted to buy higher quality, better products. Right now with COVID, of course, everybody's even more conscious on whatever is getting inside your body, because health became the top priority. Number 2, look towards lower tier cities. Yes, indeed. About 90% of Chinese consumer growth in the next couple of years is expected to come from cities as they urbanize. Of these, lower tier cities are continuously gaining ground as they constitute 45% of total household consumption in the country. These people have considerable purchasing power, 80% or more on a per capita basis compared to the national average. In Guiyang, for example, household consumption has doubled in the last few years. Domestic travel has also contributed to the continued success of lower tier cities, as domestic tourists are bringing money and opportunities to less developed regions in the country. This trend will likely continue, as right now, after the pandemic, people are also choosing different lifestyles. Some people become digital nomads and they choose to move to more remote places, and they choose to stay in their villages and their small cities, and of course live streaming, for example live streaming from farms or from natural reserves is also becoming popular, and that's where young people are needed as well. Number 3, guochao, or China chic as some call it. Well, guochao is the desire to buy local Chinese goods and services in order to support local industry and economy. This attitude towards products has been increasingly patronized over the years and led to the emergence of local players in many categories, and FMCG is one big winner when it comes to guochao. We have extremely strong brands in, for example, food and beverage industry, where snacks, new flavors, new bubble tea shops are popping up like mushrooms across the country, and the young Chinese consumers love them. Baidu searches, for example, for Chinese brands have jumped from 38% to 70% in the last decade alone. Leading this wave are the millennials with their idea of going back to their roots and becoming proud of the Chinese culture. Famous FMCG brands influenced by guochao are, for example, White Rabbit, a famous candy brand, Wang Laoji, a famous herbal drink brand, and Coconut Palm, as they capitalized on the nostalgia of these young consumers. Tmall and JD and many other platforms have also explored the expansion of this guochao market, encouraging local players in the categories to co-create products together with their consumers and launch a lot of interesting collaborations. These platforms, for instance, have special dedicated guochao pages on all of their e-commerce sites, so people reminiscent of buying something guochao can go to their specific section. Number 4, digital all the way. Indeed, China is relying on internet quite a bit, and it is the world's largest e-commerce market, and e-commerce platforms, digital payments, digital healthcare and other services rely on data, of course. Hence, this data consumption in the country keeps growing, and that leads to the rise of super apps and their expansion into ecosystems. The younger Chinese consumers are enthusiastic about including digital services in their daily lives, and they own the fact that they are the true digital natives. They, for example, innovate and drive the social plus category, where a consumer becomes much more than just a consumer, but also the promoter, the R&D department, the business partner, the salesperson, etc. for a brand. And a lot of FMCG products, as we mentioned earlier, are indeed co-created with those digital consumers. Apart from Gen Z, China's elderly and middle class are also very digitalized. 11% of China's total internet population in December 2020 were seniors, a major jump from just 6 in March 2020. Think about that, less than a year. It is estimated that at least 2/3 of total seniors in China will be online in one form or another by 2030. That is 13.9% of the total Chinese population today. FMCG brands can use, obviously, this big data generated online and the digital footprint to create and customize better products for different audiences. These factors increase brands' likability and patronage, of course. And now here are the 5 tips on how to market your FMCG brand in China this year and next. First of all, using micro-influencers. One of the most effective ways to touch base with younger generation is, of course, through social buzz, or what we call chamber effect. When you hear people in different walks of life on different channels talking about that one single brand. In fact, there was even a formula a couple of years back, 2 plus 3,000, or sometimes it was 2 plus 5,000, meaning if you want to launch a new brand in China, you need to have 2 headliners, most important bloggers. Until recently, they were Via and Li Jiaqi, that cost a lot of money and carry a lot of weight when it comes to introducing the products into the market. And then who are the 3,000 or 5,000, according to different formulas and categories? These were the micro bloggers, the bloggers that would go out and share and talk and make a lot of social buzz and noise about your product. So a couple of months back, it was all about having the two headliners and an army of micro influencers to talk about your brand, and that could pretty much guarantee a successful launch of your brand in the China market. Number 2, invest in your CRM and the relationships with your existing customers. As it's becoming more and more difficult to capture new customers, for example, for China's tech ecosystems, right? When all of them are pretty much reaching the limit and nearing the full potential of Chinese netizen market, it is right now a battlefield for attention. Brands are fighting for attention, digital platforms are fighting for attention, and you need to be wooing, constantly impressing and supporting your existing customers to make sure they don't switch allegiances and brands. It's not uncommon in China today already to have a shop assistant provide one-on-one service to their main customers on WeChat. Right now we also have automation, we have a lot of robots, we have a lot of data pools that can help us personalize those messages, launch these tightly knit communities, and also personal communication through, for example, WeChat work with our private pool of customers. So think about that, act on it, build what works for your brand, because this is not going to change. Advertising to customers is going to only become more and more expensive, hence keeping your customers, engaging them and making sure they are repeat buyers is going to be the main avenue for growth. Number 3, win customers through CSR programs. Indeed, today Chinese consumers are very much involved with brands that have consciousness and support society as a whole, support their industry, support individual health, support the environment, and many other important topics. While today there's a small number of people that are also willing to put their dollar and pay more for brands that do the good work, this proportion is definitely going to continue growing as the country is becoming wealthier and wealthier, and this consciousness keeps expanding. Already today, there's a couple of international and local brands that are doing great when it comes to corporate social responsibility. One international example is Unilever, and of course, there's a lot of cases of domestic brands that also play on the card that they are domestic and they are willing to contribute even more than global giants when it comes to their investment in their day-to-day operation, in their giving back to Chinese society or Chinese countryside or Chinese natural disaster-stricken regions, and consumers go and vote essentially with their dollars. So for all those international brands out there, your CSR programs in China are extremely important, especially right now when you have a rising domestic competition that are willing to do what's necessary in order to show that we are in this together. Number 4, get creative and start producing filters. Indeed, there's a huge buzz right now about the metaverse and extended reality, and AR is a part of this cool thing. So essentially, FMCG companies can ride on this wave by producing AR filters and competitions and launch them on a variety of platforms. Various platforms offer ways to create a filter and have a shared tools where a consumer can share it out with their community as well. For example, Instagram's Spark AR Studio, right, allows people to create filters, and brands can hijack this trend to promote their campaigns or specific products. In China, we of course also have very similar things. Number 5, let consumers peek into your day-to-day operations. Show them the office, grow your in-house KOLs, show them your production facility, share with them your day-to-day activities, your brand DNA, bring them on this journey with you. It is so important right now, behind the scenes, and of course working through your KOEs, key opinion employees. If you don't have one yet, it's time to think about creating one. Key opinion employee is essentially a staff member who is employed with the brand, who is the main digital representative and communicates company values, product quality, sells sometimes through live streaming, and does tons and tons of different things in order to make the brand more human, and people connect with humans they know, like, and trust. And now finally, let's sum it all up with a few pointers on what is specifically important this year, 2022 and 23. Well, First of all, this year, convenience trumps it all. With the unexpected restrictions and lockdowns brought by the pandemic in China, I'm sure you've heard how serious the lockdowns and restrictions are in the country. Access to basic goods is very often disrupted and unavailable. This situation makes convenience an extremely important element and something that people newly appreciate a lot. As consumers and their families get increasingly busier with their return to the new normal, there is a heightened need for convenience when it comes to FMCG products as well. Even supermarkets have grocery delivery system to make it easier for customers to get the products. FMCG goods can benefit from ready-to-use instant delivery, TV diners, microwave goods, or all-in-one meals replacements like Nutri-Bars or powdered milk drinks. So think about your category, think about how to bring that convenience. Is it through delivery? Is it through service? Is it through subscription? Is it through a new product innovation? It's all on the table. Number 2, healthier options of absolutely everything is becoming extremely important in the FMCG industry. So when it comes to products, food products, for instance, low sodium, reduced fat, sugar-free products are increasingly popular among the young generation and also middle-aged. Plant-based milk alternatives, homegrown cultured meat, alcohol-free mocktails, just to give you a few examples. On a happier note, allergen-free products are also becoming more popular with consumers. Perceived health benefits for FMCG products are making them stand out in the category. So look at your product lines. Do you have healthier options? If not yet, create them, and make sure you also understand what does it mean healthier, because there are some products, for example, that according to Chinese traditional medicine are not good. They are cooling your body or they're heating your body, right? So you need to understand not only the Western perspective of what is healthy, but what is considered healthy, good, and better option in the local market. Ingredient research is paramount important. Number 3, environmentally aware. Just as we spoke above, this is one of the big things that's happening in the market. Consumers are enjoying brands that are more conscious. And here, when it comes to environmentally aware, FMCG products, packaging is especially important. Products labeled as organic, local, find more ground with the consumers than traditional FMCG food and beverages, of course, but also antibiotic-free, grass-fed, free range, etc. Plastic-free packaging is important as well, as it's more important, it appears more sustainable. So make sure that when it comes to appearing more sustainable, appearing more healthy, you are actually doing something to make the products more sustainable or packaging more sustainable and healthier, right? So it's not just a marketing claim, but it becomes deeply embedded into your company's DNA. Number 4, give your customers an experience and a personalized one. When it comes to young consumers, they expect more and more personalizations to come, and some companies are doing it well. For example, like Coca-Cola's personalized names on the bottles, or giving them a memorable and exciting experience in the shop, online or offline, or creating adventurous flavors that are co-created with them, right? Make sure that this is also a part of your strategy. And finally, of course, in your marketing in the next 2 years, make sure that you are utilizing a lot of exciting technologies such as AI, augmented reality. Try and experiment with some metaverses, because these are buzzwords right now, but also because there are some results, and you can be early in the game, and this buzz can give you new consumers, and you can be viewed as this pioneer, right? And this is always an important and exciting thing. Apart from the buzz, of course, you want to make sure that technology first and foremost makes the experience smooth, convenient. You focus on the customer journey and customer centricity, and it is just easy to be friends with you and to come to you as the brand again and again. And this is all for today. We've covered FMCG category in China. It is an extremely fast-paced industry, and if you need help with planning your strategy, adjusting to new consumer demands, or doing foresighting and trend watching in this category in particular, do reach out, and I'd be very happy to connect you with my team of professional researchers and strategists doing China trend watching. If you have other thoughts, tips, or ideas about FMCG in China, drop them in the comments below. We're gonna see each other in a couple of weeks at the next Ashley's Digital China episode. Meanwhile, have a fantastic week and stay in touch.